what I'm talking about. Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
The 2025 Samsung TV lineup managed to hit two birds with one stone, and it's genius. I'm talking about Samsung's new strategy that 1. Protects its market share against Hisense and TCL, plus increases market adoption of 8K. Oh wait, and this strategy actually hit a third bird, and that's you, the TV enthusiast. Ouch! Let's talk about it. Hey friends, want to upgrade to Windows 11 Pro but can't afford the official price of $199? How about $21 or Windows 10 for $16 with my discount code SF20? Thanks to our sponsor, Whokeys. Yes, Black Friday is here. Get an additional 30% off with my code SF20. Go to Whokeys.com, add Windows 11 Pro to your cart, apply my discount code SF20, and bam, only $21. Here's how we activate it. Go to your Whokeys account at the top right under User Center, click on My Purchased Orders, click on View Keys and Code, click Get the Key, copy the Windows 11 Pro key under Code Card, then go to your system settings, scroll down and click Activation, click Change Product Key, paste the key code, click Next, and you're done. So don't miss out on these amazing deals. Click on my links in the video description below. After seeing all the changes in store for Samsung's 2025 TV lineup at CES, I realized that what Samsung just did was a not so subtle shift in their messaging and marketing to consumers. Specifically, Samsung is no longer interested on the hard specifications and technologies that drive image quality performance. No more talk about HDR, nits, dimming zones, brightness, none of that. It's all about lifestyle features and buzzword technologies. And you know what? It's gonna work. At the crux of this shift is the existential theme. How do you survive in the face of Hisense and TCL just lobbing technology 1 month, 1 year after another? You simply cannot keep up if you're fighting on their turf, which is specifications, brightness, zones. All that is now the domain of Hisense and TCL. Remember, since 2021, when Samsung first introduced their Mini LED TV, the QN95A, since then, they've actually been falling behind Hisense and TCL. I would say 2021 was the last year Samsung matched or maybe slightly exceeded hardware specifications of TCL and Hisense. But then in 2022, 2023, 2024, and now 2025, TCL and Hisense have been dramatically increasing and pushing the benchmark ever higher. So if that's no longer your strength, what do? You create a new strength and redefine what consumers should expect. We have to talk in terms of intangibles where TCL and Hisense, they're not very strong at, but we're willing to invest in. And that is, I'm sure you know where I'm going. Anti-glare, but not for the sake of anti-glare. The anti-glare, anti-reflective technology serves a purpose. It's to promote the art store. Yes, in 2025, Samsung's lineup was not just limited to the frame. The frame was an art store product, right? You buy the frame, you have a subscription to the art store. Genius move because the frame is cheap to make and forever subscription at less than $100 a year. If you have access to the art store on the frame, you get this rotation of amazing art day after day, 24/7. So your TV is always on displaying art. They make money without ads and the buyers love it. They get the frame just to display art. And so Samsung's thinking, wait a minute, this TV is profitable at both ends. Selling the TV itself is profitable, right? It's cheap to make and they totally mark it up. It's as expensive as an OLED and performs terribly. But for art with the anti-glare, it's perfect. And so they're thinking, wait a minute, what if we extended this art store to all of our TVs, all of our Mini LED TVs? This year's F series of Neo QLED, the QN series, will receive art store subscription. And of course, that means they need the anti-glare, anti-reflective coating. Unfortunately, their OLED and QD-OLED TVs cannot do art store for fear of what burn-in. So yeah, we'll talk about that problem a little bit later in this video. But ultimately, right, to defend against Hisense and TCL, you focus on what you know your people love. Your people love the art store. They love the frame. How about giving them that on all of your high-performing TVs that's not OLED? So by doing that, they're 8K TVs, they're 4K flagship mini LED TVs, right? All art store capable. And they will maintain their revenues and profit against Hisense and TCL. Now, I know TCL and Hisense, they have similar products, right? Hisense, or rather TCL this year released a partnership with B&O, right? But what they don't understand is consumers want an easy experience. You get on, you turn on the TV, you sign in, log on to the art store, pay some money, and boom, it's ready to go. Very seamless, very easy, and you have art on rotation as long as you pay your subscription. And they have the frame, various different, literally frames around your TV, different colors and all that stuff, right? So interior decorators love it, and significant others who are design focused, they love it and they prefer that. So number one, that first bird to fall, protect your market share, protect your revenues against TCL and Hisense. So they're doubling it down across their best TVs. Now, number two, 8K. So the frame, let's continue this theme. Their 8K TVs suddenly have a reason to exist. Le raison d'être, right? This is the reason why 8K TVs was not catching on. No native 8K content. But what if the art store started delivering native 8K art? I know many of you are saying, "Oh, what if it's upscaled?" The fact is, it's not hard for Samsung Art Store to take the source, make that source native 8K at the source. So yes, they probably upscaled the raw image to an 8K version, but regardless, they can say, hey, your 8K TV is receiving an 8K image. So now the salesperson at Best Buy or Samsung could say, hey, don't turn off your 8K TV, leave it on and let it show native 8K images. And that's brilliant. We no longer have to wait for the movie studios to create 8K native content. And you know what? Who runs their TV 24/7 playing movies? Nobody I know. So 24/7, you know what you're running when you're not watching the news or Netflix and everything else in 4K or less on your 8K TV? You run 8K content that are paintings and galleries from all over the world. So with one CES, Samsung defends its turf against Hisense and TCL by focusing on lifestyle unique to them, the art store. And then number two, what did they do? 8K adoption has a reason to exist. And the third bird, enthusiasts, I know, anti-glare is the necessary evil for this last one. How do you please enthusiasts? And I think the rumors are true, the speculation that QD-OLED is on its last legs. So let's start with that. And now you're thinking, oh, Samsung has forgotten about the enthusiast who loves image quality. It's not going away next year. You know, we have the S95F this year. Despite anti-glare, we have the S95, whatever successor, likely next year. But in 2027, I'm calling it, your flagship TV will not be QD-OLED. It will be RGB Microed. That is the third buzzword. That is what is going to get Samsung back in the lead. Now, it's not because of pure image quality, right? First of all, that buzzword, microLED. Who doesn't want to say, I have a microLED TV? Despite that being inaccurate, RGB microLED that we saw at CES at Samsung this year is not microLED TVs that you think it is. It is not self-emissive direct view RGB microLED. Instead, it is more similar to the Hisense RGB mini LED. Yes, it is a mini LED backlight system, but you know what? Who's to stop Samsung from calling it a micro LED? RGB micro LED. It's essentially an LCD TV, and this is why it's genius for Samsung. It does two things. One, it brings profits back to the flagship. You don't understand how Samsung Electronics loathed to adopt QD-OLED because its profit margins were slim. I mean, they're like, man, if only people bought mini LED instead, where the profit margins like this, but the QD-OLED is so good, so people are buying it and we're not making as much money. with RGB Micro LED, that money is back. Bring in the cash flow, baby. Yes, it's an LCD TV. And I know initially RGB Micro LED is more expensive to make, yada, yada, yada. But ultimately, this will scale up much easier than QD-OLED. That's why they didn't have 83-inch QD-OLED. It's very expensive to make, very expensive to tool. RGB Micro LED, or in this case, Mini LED technology, but when Samsung starts selling RGB Micro LED TVs in 75, 85, 98, and larger, this will be a huge profit center because in addition to giving them better profit margins per TV, Art Store capable. It's not OLED. No burn-in. Who cares? And they will come in both 4K and 8K. You see where I'm going. They're back in the game, baby. Their flagship TVs will suddenly, again, be both profitable and have a sustainable revenue structure. After they sell you the TV, you're not going to want to turn off your RGB Micro LED TV. It'll be on 24/7. You're going to pay for that $99 annual subscription or whatever it ends up costing. What a way to go. So, in one CES, Samsung has completely shifted its strategy from what was really focusing on image quality or trying to win the shootout. Why? Now, let's talk about the actual image quality of the RGB Micro LED, because they could also win that image quality game. They could bring back specs that they were kind of embarrassed to share with you because Hisense and TCL were technically brighter in every way. You know what's better than OLED because LG is there? Well, with RGB Micro LED, they could abandon OLED finally and say, oh, guess what? We're 97% BT 2020 and 10,000 nits. OLED will never get there, ever. It's not going to last. And this is using Hisense's RGB Mini LED numbers as context. Similar technology, so I'm sure Samsung will be around there. 97% BT 2020, close to 10,000 nits, but it doesn't have to be 10,000. As long as it's 5,000 around there, you're done, right? And the color saturation and all of that, genius. So here we are again, coming back to LCD TV. I had so thought that LCD was dead. Who would have thought that with this move, Samsung brought back their favorite technology, LCD TVs, for another maybe 5 more years? Agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Will Samsung survive with this move? Until next time, stop the FOMO.